Hi Steve, thanks for joining us. We were just having a chat, and we thought the contents of a conversation probably deserved a mini update. It was so much to it. You were listing off some injuries, sounding pretty bad.
It's difficult to know how to put it into words, mate. Actually, because it just never seems to end. And I want to come and and we want to do these updates, and we want to be positive, and we want to give people good news, and we want to give people something to hang their hats on and something to look forward to. And yet every week we seem to be talking about the same things and the same problems, and it's quite depressing at times. I'm absolutely been knocked sideways since Saturday. Obviously, we've Darren Mullins has rung up and said that his back is giving him major problems. Charlie Kennedy obviously tore his thigh in the game, but just tried to get through the last 20 minutes. So Charlie's going to be struggling for tomorrow. Obviously, Josh Wakefield twisted his knee, so that's another one we're going to have to look at. Devon came off obviously with a nasty injury. I think his voice is now broke after that injury, so that's handy for him. He's talking he's talking in a much higher pitch, but anyway, not to worry. Who else is there? Obviously the normal ones. Sam is not going to be ready for a couple of weeks. Fitch ain't going to be ready for a couple of weeks. Marv, we're trying to get a specialist to see Marv to see what's happening with his leg. So it just seems to go on, and it just it never seems to stop, mate. And I think it's just been very, very difficult to keep coming out with the same stuff week in, week out. But it just doesn't feel like there's anything else that we can talk about, and we've got to keep people up to speed and up to date with what's happening at the football club. I just wish it was something different other than lamenting the people who won't be playing.
That's a fairly long list of names. We're going to be struggling to cobble a side together yet again, aren't we?
Yeah, it's not even just the players who are not going to be playing tomorrow. It's also the players that are playing even when they shouldn't. And that's the case with Darren Mullins. He's played because he's had to play. Ollie Knowles, has been struggling over the last couple of weeks. In fact, he's been struggling for a lot of majority of the season. We're sort of trying to mix and make do. We're trying to bring players back in before they're even recovered, simply because we keep getting people injured. Others are on their way back, and before they've come back, other people get injured. So there's a necessity to push them into the side and get them back, as quickly as possible. But Sam Roberts, we're going to wait on Sam Roberts tomorrow, but Sam Roberts hasn't kicked a ball yet. He hasn't trained. Sam Neal hasn't kicked a ball all season. So we've got to reintroduce him gently. There's lots of, you're trying to play players simply because, we've got so few people available. You're actually shoehorning people into the team. When ideally you'd like to give them another week, 10 days, just to get some training sessions under their belt. But I think a prime example of that would be Josh Somerton. I think everyone would look at Josh now and say he's been absolutely fantastic the last 2 or 3 weeks, but he's had to go through the period of getting himself fit to get to that limit at that level. You don't just come back from months and months off like he's had, and then suddenly you hit the dizzy heights of of the performances we know he's capable of. He's got to get that sharpness. He's got to get that fitness and that core back into his legs and his lungs. And then you reap the benefits. But it's waiting those 2 or 3 games for us to get that. And in that time, Josh, by his own admission, would have said he was way below the level that we expect. Now he's back to where what we think Josh is, which is one of the best players in the league. But this is what I'm saying about there's no wiggle room, there's no leeway. These players are coming back before they're ready, simply because they've got to. And it's not great playing players to get fit constantly. And as I say, you just want to be able to go and pick a team and go with that side and get the system and do what you need to do without keep constantly having to change it and mix and make do and trying to fill gaps and trying to fill holes just to get a team out. But in all honesty, we're saying this now. We were saying this 3 months ago, and we were saying it 3 months before that. This has just been a constant, not something that's just cropped up. I'll say there's no way in the world that if we kept a relatively fit squad, particularly with the couple of players that we've added lately, that we'd be where we are. So it just gives you an understanding of exactly what's gone on this season and how much we've had to part with. In the end, though, you've got to, at some stage, you've got to let it go and let it slide because it'll break you. And and we've had to relax with the players, and we've had to try and take the pressure off a little bit, because to ask players to do something they're not capable of, is not the right way to go about it. So we've probably had to maybe take the intensity out of our preparation and our expectations, simply just to manage the situation.
You mentioned Josh there and how good he's been. Man of the match performance. Unfortunately, ended in defeat against Taunton on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's with all due respect, they're a good side. They're big and they're strong. They are the most experienced, I think, knowledgeable side in this league. They don't go far off the beaten track. They've got a way of playing that suits them. They get the ball forward early. They'll get in behind. They play off the second ball. Fantastic delivery for corners, free kicks. I mean, you saw, yet again, the delivery. I think they've had 2 corners, 2 free kicks. They've scored twice and hit the post. So they just don't waste those opportunities. They were a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger than us. And that was the difference. If you're talking about free play, between the 2 boxes, between the 2 penalty areas, we're probably the better side. But where it really matters, which is getting on the end of stuff in one box and making sure you clear, stuff in the other. There's no better sides than them in those situations. So they've won the game the way that we know Taunton win games, and then they're very, very difficult then to break down when they get their nose in front. So as I say, they manage games. They're the best team in the league at managing games, with the experience that they've got and the players they've got. So they stick to exactly what the game plan is, and it's a very very difficult game plan to beat. I mean, everybody I speak to who's played against them said, we should have got something, but they haven't. And I keep saying, well, there's something in that, because we've played them twice and should have got something and haven't. So
I think a point would have been fair on Saturday, wouldn't it? Yeah,
and certainly we deserved everything. We certainly deserved a point down there. We were better down there than we were Saturday. We created 4 or 5 great chances down there. We didn't create as many chances at home, but you'd probably say that we certainly deserve something from the game. Look, take their front 4 out, take 2 of their midfielders out, and take a centre half out, right? And they haven't got anybody else, that in that squad that comes in to take their place. They have to go out and search for players. And you give us a full strength side. Do you think that they would have beaten us with that scenario? They wouldn't. We would have beaten them. So, have we got any right to beat them with what's going on at the football club? We probably haven't. But I'll tell you what, we've had a go. Everybody's given everything. You can't knock these players after what they've been through this season. And we'll keep doing that, and we'll keep going. And, I don't know what the side's going to be. The players don't know what the side's going to be. It's incredibly difficult circumstances to try and win games under. But we'll keep going, and we'll keep having a go. And, we'll give a chance to, 1 or 2 other players that probably wouldn't have got a chance before. And let's see where it takes us. But, I think there's an understanding now, which is really good, that people who are coming to the games do understand the situation at the football club and what's going on, and that's really good, because there's a certain there's a knowledge there that that we're all learning from this situation. It's a situation that's unheralded. I don't think it could this has ever been known. I've never known anything like this, and none of the players have. that you can be constantly, lack of players that we have, the availability of players. So I think there's an acceptance and understanding, and they were unbelievable. The fans Saturday, I thought they were fantastic. I think they can see. Look, yes, we come up short a little bit on quality, but I don't think you can ask any more of the players effort-wise, which is and same for myself. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, chat in the bar after the game was that was a decent performance, and we certainly deserved a point. But you said we need to keep going and keep trying, and we will do against Tiverton tomorrow evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever side we put out, okay, it's we're going to be missing a lot of important players, a lot of good players, but it might be the opportunity for somebody else, and we'll try and give everybody at the football club the opportunity to showcase their talents. And so all I can ask is that they go out there and work as hard as they possibly can, and if things come off, they come off, and if they don't, then we've just got to keep going. And as I say, it's 6 weeks to season left. It's not an eternity. I think everybody involved feels that it'll be nice to get this one out the way and then start again. I mean, there's a couple of players that I've agreed deals for next year. They're not going to come at this moment, but they might come towards the end of this season. And there's things to look forward to, and there's things that we need to do. I looked at. I mean, I look at the team for Saturday, and I'm looking at how we want to go and how we want to play, and I'm thinking, I'd like to go. Probably the preferred system would be 4-4-2, and then I look at it and think, well, hold on a minute, we haven't got Baggy would have to go left, and Chaz Davies would then have to play on the right. And then we've got, we'd only have the two in midfield. I know Daz was struggling with his back, and Josh obviously in there. And they do play a three in midfield. So it's sort of like you're looking at it and thinking, well, what's the system that most suits these players? Although one size certainly doesn't fit all. And that was the case Saturday. There are a couple of lads who, would have preferred to, may have played a little bit higher up the pitch. But then also you go the other way, and we get done 3 for 2 in midfield. Charlie Davies isn't really a wide right. Balbaghi then has to play on the left, which is not the position that he favours. So it's as I say, there's nothing that picks itself. There's nothing that stands out and says this is the system, this is the team. You're constantly trying to reinvigorate, and look at what you need to do to get as many players, not everybody, because we just don't have the players to do that, but as many players in a position that can affect the game. And that's basically what we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 months. So it's not easy for anyone. But
it's your job to sort it. So
yes, absolutely. And it'll be my job to, to try and put a team together tomorrow, that goes out and yet again, gives us a performance that at least we can say, well, they had to go. And that's all we can ask at this stage.
Exactly. We thought this was going to be a mini update, but it's been a normal full update, which has been quite good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. I'll let you get on and start planning for tomorrow.
Yeah. It's great if people came back tomorrow night. I know it's difficult, expenditure wise to come, twice in 3 or 4 days, but it really would be great to have everyone back again tomorrow night. As I say, it was fantastic. The support we received Saturday was second to none. It really was I think it was the sort of like the one real positive out of the day. The performance was okay. The result was disappointing, but the actual, the attendance and the way that we got backed on Saturday was brilliant. So as I say, all the lads really appreciate that, and it'll be great to see, most of you back again.
And we've got a few weeks off with home games. 26th is the next one, which is non-league day.
Yeah, so it's going to be a while before we have another home game.
And the bonus on non-league day is we're doing kids get in for free.
Brilliant. Okay.
So that'll officially be launched in the next few days on the website. But
that'd be great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks very much, Steve.
Thanks, Ian. Cheers, mate.
Good luck. Cheers, then.
Thanks. Bye.